Hello, this video is actually a companion video to my last video. In that one, I reviewed the game in its entirety. In this video, I will be more focusing on the ingenious design of the game, and how its game design can help you when making a game today. I've really loved this game, so I have a lot to say about it. Let's get started. Now, as many of you viewers may know, during the development of the NES, Shigeru Miyamoto was working on two games. One game had the designation of linear ideas, the other had the designation of non-linear. I'm sure it's super obvious which is which. Mario got the linear ideas and Zelda got the more open-air, non-linear concepts. This ended up working really well, but also caused some problems for the game in early stages of its development. Playtesters had no idea what to do or where to go. Since it was the first mainstream open-world game of its kind available to a wide audience, Zelda had a lot of things to overcome. People had played games like Adventure before, but this was much more complex and, believe it or not, less straightforward. Originally, you start out already holding the wooden sword, causing players to just wander around with no sense of direction or goals, and succeed at, well, nothing. This caused a conflict in the design. The developers could add some sort of text box to these first few moments to clear up the confusion, but they felt it was more important to let the players make their own adventure. They wanted the experience and the adventure to be drawn out of your sense of wonder and exploring. Since players couldn't figure out how this bold new concept would or should play out, Shigeru devised a clever strategy to teach players what the game was in the first few seconds of gameplay that didn't involve outright telling the players anything at all. The team created the Old Man in the Cave. They took Link's sword away and made it a collectible, placing it in the cave with the Old Man. The player starts the game, and now the first thing they see is some sort of blacked out section on the wall. This particular spot looks drastically different than the rest of the map and quickly draws your attention. Natural curiosity should lead the player to go up to the cave and try to interact with it, causing them to huddle inside, removing all doubt from the player's mind that this was just scenery, and in turn teaching them that there are caves to find. The Old Man then informs Link that the object can in fact be picked up. Once the player walks over it and picks it up, it automatically gets assigned to a button. The player then presses the button to see what the object is. In case they have yet to identify it as a wooden sword, now it is at least fairly clear that it is a weapon. The best part, though, is that if the player decides to leave the first screen and wander off without exploring the cave, they will be unable to defend themselves and either go back to the first screen or die. Respawning puts Link back in the first screen anyway, so either one works just fine. The player will then realize that they are defenseless and that they must have missed something. This will draw their attention to the cave as, again, it is the thing that looks different on screen. Then all of the aforementioned events will play out as planned. This design is both totally open and pretty much airtight, making it, as I said before, ingenious. This teaches the player a few things. You can get items to use on the overworld, you want to look for caves, and you want to experiment with things that look interesting. This essentially is the basics of what you need to play Zelda almost all the way through the game. The takeaway here is that you want your game to be designed in such a way that the player can figure out its mechanics organically from the level design. If the player can't figure out what to do or how to play, the best option is to make sure that the level design and story is conducive to the controls and vice versa. This is easier done on an NES controller because it only has so many buttons, and you will try them all relatively quickly to see what effect they have on the experience. In conclusion, if you're smart about the way your level is laid out, you can teach the player everything they need to know about your game without ever telling them a thing.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't seen the review that this video goes with, you can find it right here. If you were curious about other games that you'd want me to talk about, you can leave them in the comments down below. If you did like this video or thought it was neat or helpful, then you can give it a like. That would be awesome. And if you want to see more, subscribe.